This ship is a work in progress, all stats are subject to change, what you see now might not be the final product. I am in love! No, really, I am completely smitten with the Tier 9 Alsace. Don't tell my wife, she might be jealous of my new French muse. I've already covered the Tier 10 France and given my brief thoughts of the Tier 7 through Tier 10 French battleships. They are fun. Well, the Richelieu is a little on the dull side, but you can't have a perfect line. I don't think any line is perfect, and no line should be. The grind through Richelieu might be dull, but it's highly worth it for the reward that is the Alsace. This ship is the pinnacle of the French battleship line, and to make an extremely bold statement, one of the most fun battleships in the entire game. Alsace is the love child of the Bismarck in Iowa. All the best aspects of both were melded into one super genetic freak battleship. Of course, it is a work in progress, and everything is subject to change. I will say if it does change, I will be much sad. Wait, very, very sad. I'll be very sad if anything changes. First, some stats. 74,700 mother tanking hit points in the B-hull. 12 380mm guns. Again in that wacky quad gun per turret setup. This is likely a holdover from the Napoleonic Wars where everyone had little man syndrome. These guns fire with a generous 830 meters per second shell velocity for flat armor penetrating arc. Cruisers should be turning their fantails brown right about now. They have a 20.3 kilometer max firing range. Well, that's how I've got mine set up, and that's with the B-hull. I'll get to the setup later. You get no spotting aircraft. Good luck to your combat fighter. At least they can spot torpedoes, though. I've got my secondaries up to 11.3 kilometers. That includes mods, AFT, BFT, DPRK, and FBCB2. And some of those acronyms don't belong there. I also threw on signals to boost the secondaries to extreme troll range. Anti-aircraft defense is stout, but I haven't seen much in the way of carriers. Do they even exist at this point, or do they just kind of peek their heads out on February 2nd once a year and see their shadow and disappear for another 6 months? Top speed with Sierra Mikes is a blazing 33.6 knots, turning circle is 916 meters, punch the speed boost to push up to around 35 knots of vomit-inducing speed that makes your battleship look like a geyser. You can also power through turns quicker with that as well. There is a definitive Whiskey Tango Foxtrot factor when an enemy battleship sees you heave to, pucker factor to the max. Lastly, surface concealment is 12.6 knots, that's with camo, captain skills, and all of the above, and that's about standard for a Tier 9 battleship. Now, let's talk about my setup, which I find works quite spectacularly. Let's throw that bad boy up here. Main armaments mod 1 so you don't lose your guns quite as easily. Damage control mod 1 because what else would you take? In the 3 slot I originally had aiming mod. You do not need that. She's accurate enough without it. Take secondaries mod 2 to boost your secondary range. Take damage control mod 2 to help keep fires to a minimum. This is because your captain's skill allocation won't allow for fire prevention, or at least my captain's skill allocation. I'll cover that a little later. Rounding things off, take concealment, and lastly main battery mod 3 to reload those 12 guns even faster. That puts them at a 26.4 second reload, not too shabby. Now for the captain skills. Your 1 and 2 points are generally going to be the same across the board. There might be some small variances. The 3 and 4 pointers is what I want to talk about. BFT, AFT, and concealment are your takeaways from here. This is a secondary build. Now, if you want to, if you feel safe, you might be able to forgo Superintendent, and by removing High Alert, you can allocate it to manual fire control or basics of survivability. Just make sure to take AFT and BFT though. Not spending too much time on these here. So there you have it. That's how I have this baguette loaded, and she is fun. Through and through. I said France was fun. This ship makes France look like a sad mime. Alsace truly is the pinnacle of the French battleship line. I play this ship fast and furious. She can charge into the fray, and with her speed, charge out of the fray if necessary. Alsace is like Marianne waving the French flag in the midst of battle. It is awe-inspiring. The guns are potent and can make short work of enemy cruisers. In the same vein, they're extremely effective against battleships that are unfortunate enough to get outflanked and fired at broadside. And that's another aspect the Alsace excels in. Her speed makes her the ideal flanking ship. She can keep up with French cruisers, and that combination of battleship AP and French cruiser HE can have a terrifying effect on enemy ships that you get the drop on. And speaking of getting the drop, destroyers expect not to want to sneak up on the Alsace. The Secondaries are ruthless, and once alerted to the presence of a DD that's wandered into secondary range, Alsace's 12 guns have a unique ability shared by the Montana to insta-blap destroyers. Of course, if destroyers and cruisers should stay away from the Alsace, battleships should not be too eager to try to run her down as well. Well, good luck trying to catch the Alsace. Even if she's fleeing and kiting, her secondaries will warn you to stay away. For all her virtues, Alsace is not completely perfect. It's easy to overextend yourself too far too fast on account of her speed. If you stray too far, you'll get focused, and at that point, there's not much that can be done for you. Also, while your armor is good and provides good citadel protection, you're not immune to withering fire. In fact, it almost felt like I was taking more damage at range than up close. Of course, I might be imagining things, which this wouldn't be the first time. At any rate, the Alsace makes the French line worth grinding. In fact, the Lyon at tier 7 makes it worth grinding. But this ship is the cherry on top. Once you do research the France at tier 10, you may find yourself opting to play the Alsace more often. It offers everything the France has, minus the hit points. It gives you 4 more guns instead. I'll take the guns. Anyhow guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see these ships when 0.7.2 hits. Let me know what you think of the Alsace. I am interested to hear. I am out.